under the theory of what you call management concept. It's a contract between the employer and the employees. Under that doctrine, the employee has to play his or her role in line with the duties and functions, and then it is the employer that does the evaluations and be able to grade.
Okay.
But from my own performing point of view, I think I'm doing well. Today, we're being able to summarize our three cardinal responsibilities into a brochure that spelled out lawmaking, representation, oversight.
Okay.
Along those ways, if you have time to go in the brochure, we're being able to craft several legislation,
Several.
legislation.
Meaning four, five?
About seven.
Okay.
Prominent among them is the Special Economic Zone Act of 2017.
Okay.
The history of that act started in 2015 when I got elected as senator and had to go through the first budget defend. One person who declined to vote for the passage of the budget at the time. My reason was the budget was 85% recurring costs. Only 15% were geared towards development of the people.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I have come from a developmental background, working with the church and partners. And so I felt a little bit, how can the national budget only reflect 15% for development for this country? But so I declined to vote for that budget. But then I sat by myself and said, is it enough to decline for the next 8 years? Why is it going to take you? So why don't you contribute to the process? So I sat down and started to work with my staff, and we developed an act that is called a Special Economic Zone Act. We try to establish an economic hub in Liberia, using Grand Bassel as the free zone, where manufacturers will come into the country and produce and go into finished products of our raw materials. For example, you know we have rubber, right? And we say importing used tires. Most of our cars are used tires on the line. And so why don't we do that? And so we went and wrote that act. Graciously, the Senate, after all the rigorous process, passed that. It went through the House concorded with that. Former President Sadi signed that into law. And so today we have the Special Economic Zone Act. You remember when President His Excellency went to France, his first visit, the heavy emphasis on the Special Economic Zone Act.
Okay.
And so that has been our premier law. And in legislation, to be able to come up with an idea, to go through the process of 29 other brains and then cross the road or cross the chamber to the other chamber with several brains in 3%. And then, of course, the president having their own legal advisor processing it through to become a law. I think that's
It's a major achievement.
It's a major achievement. Okay. And we've done about 5 of those laws that already passed, several of them. And then so, but today, when we did that law, we tried to domesticate it. In order to do that, we organized what we call the Trade and Investment Conference of Grand Bassel County in 2017.
Okay.
That Trade and Investment Conference was held 2018 rather. And at that conference, we brought in over 40 partners, investors from around the world to showcase what is it that Grand Bassel has.
Okay.
What is it that Liberia by extension has, for which they want to host a special economic zone. And from those interactions, we published the 45 sign in Basel, a trade and investment guide. I'll give you a copy. So if you want to invest in Basel, what are the things available? What are the steps? What are the population?
How do you go about that?
How do you go about that?
Yeah.
So I have that. And so we started to showcase Basel from that point. Today, several companies working with NIC, some of them are there, of course, the leg of the Pista Port, the Tribicano, the different institutions. Right now, there's a cement company that is being constructed now, about $10 million. Cement factory being built, and several other investors are beginning to pour into
Grand Bassel
in Grand Bassel County.
Mm.
Later on, the Africa Development Bank, working with NIC, has approved $7.8 million to start the agro-processing plant at that free zone. And so that is what we've been able to do in addition to just, so our challenge, our anticipation has been, how do we contribute through building the economy, through creating job opportunity, revenue, income, so that the envelope will get bigger, and then the government will do more development.
Now, you did extremely well trying to create that build, and with all the processes you had to pass through, and finally it became it became law. Today, yeah, like you are indicating, you got couple of companies now, foreign companies in Grand Bassa County. But have you been able to measure uh, in terms of job opportunities? What that bill has been able to offer your people in terms of job opportunities. Have you been able to measure that?
Well, so about there's a there are three branches of government. The function of the legislature is what I explained to you. The execution and implementation rest with the executive. However, we have oversight.
Okay.
And from our oversight eyes and ears, we think the process of going through the NIC and getting a concession, all the things take some time. The fact that there are being concession already signed, it says to us that the process has started. Currently, the expansion of Mittal, the coming of the HPS, the expansion of the road and all of that. You're talking about the construction and operation of the cement factory in Bikano. Instead of buying cement from Monrovia, I show in the next couple of months, if not a year, we'll be having our own cement production. So people go in the southeast and other poking down. And so there are a barrage of activities that will lead towards massive employment. But again, the processes and every other legal thing and every other groundwork need to be done. And so that by the time we launch into that, we create stable employment opportunity. And so that people, our citizens, Liberian and citizens of Bassa, other people, we have an opportunity to have a job. So I can say to you that we cannot measure now, but I think with the groundwork going on, with a lot of the work going on in the county, with the new issue of the Africa Development Bank pumping into about $7 million. All of those will gear towards employment, and I think the employment opportunity will improve.
I know you don't want to assume that employment opportunities will come when all the groundworks are done. Are you considering, Senator, meeting those concessions, meeting those concessionaires, meeting those companies that will be operating your county? Are you considering meeting them to make sure that their people in the county are prioritized and they don't bring in foreigners to run their businesses?
Well, the first intervention starts from the lawmaking, meaning the concessions, how do we approve them? That is where the issue of social benefit, the issue of local ownership, that's where the issue of making sure that your citizens are prioritized and they get jobs is firstly done.
Okay.
The second thing is that the caucus of Grand Bassa County is working closely with these concessions. We are following up, and we are hoping that as a caucus we'll be able to engage them and what is good for our people. So it's not only about me as an individual senator, but we're working with the county superintendent, we're working with the leadership of the local leadership. And so the administration of the county is to ensure that our people get the just benefit in terms of employment, scholarship, in terms of social development that will impact other developmental aspects of our county.
Now, I understand also you played a major role in bringing to birth the Grand Bassa Community College. Do you care to tell us more about that?
Well, if there will be any glory, I want to share that with the young people of Grand Bassa County.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, when we were still dreaming how to get here, it was a young men and women of Bassa that took to the street, reminded us that there was a need to have a tertiary education in Grand Bassa County. I want to salute them. Okay. The process began with them, and we went through Mittal, made some money available under the administration of Mr. Salif. The process started of identifying land. The county produced, I think over 75 acres of land. Those processes started. Today, the community college was chartered during the 53rd legislature with the former senators and other representatives and superintendents that played a very vital role. We came in later on to build on what they've done. And so I want to credit also the citizens of Grand Bassa, the entire citizen, the county administration, the legislative caucus. And today, through a submission of an amendment to move that college to a university status, started from the lower house from Honorable Matthew Fairplay Joe. Okay. And of course, later on, the processes follow from the House to the Senate, and all of us participated. So today we are glad that from near high school being in Grand Bassa County a couple of years ago to a junior college now to a full-fledged university, I think it deserved the contribution and the appreciation of all Basodians and all leaders, especially during the past and the present leadership.
Are you following a Rickman role between some protesting students and the president of the college? Are you following that?
Yes, so as a senator, you go to bed with the last information and you wake up with the last information.
Surely.
And so my ears and eyes and everything on the ground, I told you I spent most of the time in the county. And so day before, it started for a while ago, but day before yesterday, I got a call from the county attorney that some students have issues. They have some concerns, and I was able to speak to them and told them the safer thing to do, the best practices when you have the kind of grievances is to follow the different processes. The chief executive officer of that county is the county superintendent. And why not you form a team and visit the superintendent and put forth your request or your need or your concern or resolution, whatever you have. And then, of course, the next thing is that the caucus will intervene, and then we can move it from there. And graciously, they listened. I think they went to the county superintendent. Yesterday, the chair of our caucus, Honorable Haynes Bachu, had a meeting with the leadership of the students, the concerned students. And I think there's a caucus meeting this week so that we discuss their plight because we're going to treat it as an emergency issue. And so those are steps that we are taking, and we hope that we can handle the issues because that's a tertiary education. We intend to have it just as that.
But from your investigation, what have you gathered? Is it that the president of the university is at fault, or is it the students?
Well, like I said, the students have promised to submit a 12-count resolution or a 12-count concern to the caucus. I haven't seen that. When that is brought to us, we will start an investigation. We will try to, because the university is owned by the people of Bassa. The caucus represent the interests of the people of Bassa.
Surely.
And so we will begin to look at the issues. The board, we have issues that the board is not yet fully constituted. We've been advocating, we've been talking to His Excellency, the President, and to ensure that that board is fully constituted, because some of these issues could be policy issues, some of them could be governance issues, and some of the board could get in there and mitigate and listen to the President, who is the Secretary of the board, and listen to the students. And sometimes, of course, the caucus playing last role, but in the absence of the complete composition of the board, I think there were some of these frustrations are coming up. But again, we at the caucus meeting, I think we are planning to follow up with the President to ensure that the board is fully constituted so the board can begin to play its policy role.
Okay. Now, apart from the university, which is the Grand Bassa County University, the college, what role they to play? Because I understand that's a technical, vocational institution that's in Grand Bassa County also.
Well, we're trying to establish, we've been working, when I took over or became senator, there were several plans we had. We campaign on a 5-pillar agenda that says development is now. One of them talk about youth empowerment. And so we've been working. We started in number one to introduce a technical vocational training program.
Okay.
We're having some challenges there, but we're trying to. Recently, we have we are working with LACE and other government agencies to build a vocational training center in Compound 1 that we work with young people to ensure that they have the kind of requisite training.
Okay.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We also have a bill on the floor trying to establish, because with the graduation of the captive from community college to a full-fledged university, you understand that technical skills are very important for our young people as part of the readjustment process.
Okay.
And so we are now seeking an indulgence of our colleagues to establish a technical vocational institution that will be able to those students who may be unfortunate not to go to university. High school dropout, high school students can now use that institution to develop skills. And so that bill before the Senate Committee on Education, we're hoping that we'll try to get it out. But ahead of that, we're also trying to start the construction of a technical training center as the process of showcasing that we have the facility, government can now go on to even add and so forth. So that's what we are.
Let's talk about the bread and butter issue now of your people, especially looking at how you can you are helping to build their lives economically. Let's begin with the marketers. So what are you doing for them? Market women? Do you have something called loan in place?
Why the marketers?
No, I mean those are the people who make.
But someone, I think, yes, we've been working with the leadership of the Liberia Marketing Association.
Okay.
We've been working with several women groups because the issue of empowerment, the issue of the country is getting a little bit tough, or the country is actually tough. The fact that the price of basic commodity, I mean, we're not blaming it only on this administration, but you look at the global trend. So the best thing one would do now is to create an opportunity. So we started first by organizing a skill training program in an area they call Bakole, where we train both men, women, mostly women, about 150 of them, into soap making, into a pastry, into several other things, because they might have the skill to be able to invest there. So we guided them. We are working in other areas to do that. We also, as a result of that, we started to work with the LMA, and we launched, I think 2 months ago, the Francis Carpe Memorial Empowerment Scheme. My late wife passed some 3 years ago, and she was a very strong supporter of women and advocate in terms of empowerment. And so I thought to memorialize or was to launch this $5 million empowerment program. And so with the skill was launched. Now we are now working. We are personally in the family plan. Our purpose to give $2 million, and then some friends are coming in. And so on the 31st of this month, we initially will be giving out the first $3 million to different women group and a portion to the LMA. Our training and interaction with them have been, we want a revolving fund. So what we're giving is a grant.
Okay, it's a grant.
It's not a loan. And so I think people who are given an opportunity to serve, I think we should empower them, and giving an opportunity and not to say credit them.
So they're not going to pay back.
They're not going to pay back. But this is what they're going to do. This is the strategy.
Okay.
They're going to be a revolving fund within themselves or among themselves. And so, for example, you have the Liberia Marketing Association. They will be working with the 5 different sub branches in the different districts. And they will determine the markets. The superintendent of the market will come where certain women will take certain amount of money, maybe minimum of $10,000, maybe the first 20 women or the first 50 women.
Liberian dollars.
And it will revolve around them, and they will have time to pay, and then the next group of women will take that, and then the next group of women. And so eventually, I think based upon their own plan and strategy, it will be a revolving fund among them that they will continue to maintain that scheme and empower more women.
Okay.
But we not asking for anything. We just want to monitor it from a distance to say, okay, how is it going? I mean, what are the challenges? How can we help? Do you require training? Do you have this thing from that point? But it's so that is what we're doing with the market women. To answer your question.
What's about the students, the student population? Do you have scholarship scheme in place as well?
Well, since before our elections, we had put in place what I would call a process of giving back.
A process of giving back.
Giving back, especially to the young people. If you listen to my story, how I went to school and I struggle, going through difficult time. I thought to some are being blessed. Even before becoming senator, we started a process, I think since 2011, at different schools. And then, of course, we begin senator, we increase it. Currently, we have at the Grand Bassa University, I think around 50 or more students. We have different scholarship program in grade schools, maybe over 40. We have scholarship students in other tertiary institutions here in Monrovia and other places. And so we have a very active scholarship program for our young people. But more than that, scholarship is not only enough to empower young people. And so what we started to do is to work with young people, especially in high school, would-be high school graduate and high school graduate. So last year we developed, the Career Day program, where we mobilize career people from around our professional terrain, like the Auditor General, people from the Army, people from the police and other people. And we had a career development program, lawyers and other people.
To lecture the students.
So the students had a day of preparing themselves to choose their career path.
Okay.
And so we had an opportunity to do that. We also launched a vacation program for 100 students where they were giving at least $50,
Each.
for each after 3 weeks, going into the community, doing some community work, doing some office work and other things. So those are all geared towards some of the activities I will have for young people.
What's the prerequisite? What's the requirement for one to enroll on Senator Jonathan Kapi's scholarship? You must be a loyalist first or what?
No, to be honest, some of the students that are on my scholarship, I don't know them.
You don't know them. You sure of that?
I'm very sure of that.
Were you not part of, didn't you influence the vote, the vetting process?
Not at all. In fact, a month ago, the student honored me in Basa. And I was shocked. And people, I got in the hall, and the hall was filled. And they said, these are students from both Monrovia, from around the county and other area that you are supporting. They saw East University Students Association, other people. They guide us, they give us a certificate, they appreciated us. And I just didn't know most of them. But I think the process of giving back is not about who
Wasn't
you
that
know.
a stage manager?
No, sir. No, it was not stage money. I didn't have any idea about how they were playing that program. I have one of my friends who is called Jonathan Rees, who handled my educational program. And so he had come to me and said, the students, after so many years, they have come to pay their respect to you and to say, okay. So I went there, not knowing that it was a full-fledged program, and I participated.
But
So,
I know there's a caveat from you that when you enroll on my scholarship, you got to ensure that election time you vote for me.
oh no, giving back doesn't require that.
Okay.
I didn't give that number of scholarship to have been elected as senator. I didn't give that number of scholarship to have on a record to have been the only senator in contemporary time that won the 5 electoral district, to be on the record, to be the first young man to be elected as senator of that county. And so it's not about what I did or influencing people, what I would do, inducing them, but giving back because I feel grateful as a young man to have an opportunity to be chosen from the amount, class of people in our county to lead them and to work with them. I think it's a process to say give back because the Bible says, they talk about, appreciation, gratitude, in the story of the 10 Samaritan, you know that.
Okay, so on the overall, he brought in the Bible. On the overall, how many of the students you have on scholarship?
Well, on the records, from the time we launched the scholarship program, before and after being senator, we've been able to educate close to 1,000 students
In Grand Bassa County?
in Grand Bassa, and Basolians or residents of Bassa.
Okay.
Because some of the people on the scholarship are people from Nimba. Several tribes and other people live in Bassa. So some of the students are people from Nimba. And I will give them an opportunity. Then you can talk to the leadership. They have a leadership. They have organizers, that they can come and talk. They have been on some of the radio stations in Bassa. And when I listen to them, I just feel shy. Because let me say this. It's not enough for my children, the senator's quote-unquote children, to have all of the best of education, and then, of course, leaving those young people who also deserve that. And I think the more we do that, it creates a future for my children and a security for them as well.
Okay. Now, Senator, let's hear from you also regarding your contribution to health in the county. What have you done for the people?
You're still with the Ministry of Health.
I'm just asking my health question as well.
Thank you so much. Well, we started a process of working in the county when I was not senator. And so we were working with the Methodist Church and our partner, we were building the first modern health center in Gobley. Gobley is in number 3. The representative is Honorable Vincent Willie.
Okay.
So when we got elected, we worked with the government, and the government were able to raise $90,000 to complete that health structure. Right now, we are putting some money from the county development fund and other things, and it's becoming a full-fledged hospital.
Good.
I've been able to work with the county health team. We brought in several assorted medical supplies and medical equipment from abroad to Nigeria several times. When the government hospital got a fire, we've been able to donate a 20 kVA generator. It's still being used now by the hospital. We've been able to work with partners from abroad and brought in some free surgical medical team that did some medical work at the government hospital and other facilities. We've been able to work and we are building a clinic in an area they call Hammerville. It's nearing completion because we have more than 52 towns in the area that there is no medical facilities. We've also been working to ensure that we have some of our scholarship students that are medical students or nurses that will be able to come back and man some of these health facilities. we've been doing a lot of work. When the Ebola or the COVID virus started, we are meeting with the health sector. We were able to give them some package to help them in their fight against that. We've been able to donate several assorted drugs. Recently, when you heard about the quote unquote last year, the 30,000 that were given to the legislature, we were able to buy fuel, we were able to repair the ambulance, we were able to get drugs to the government hospitals and other places. So those are things we've been doing in the health sector. Sir.
Okay, that's good. You're listening to the Super Money Show, rated on the OBC 99.9 and also frequencies across Liberia. Our guest here is Senator Jonathan Kape. He's from Grand Basso County and also he's from the opposition Liberty Party. We'll be talking about that before.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Liberty Party.
No. Now, what is the whole noise about, Senator, on Capitol Hill regarding the newest $30,000? What have you heard and what's happening?
Well, I was saying, I think I was in Kigali a week ago when I saw on the social media the issue about, in some of the chat rooms, the issue about lawmakers receiving $30,000. I remember the last budget debate. We were very strong, an advocacy led by Senator Dillon and other like-minded senators.
Okay.
That the idea that no more there should be money placed in the budget to be exclusively given to lawmakers for any what you call what a constituency, what or whatever. And so the version of the budget that came to us as senators, we showed that that portion was scratched out. The budget is a public instrument. You can research it from I know. And so from what I said, I haven't received any $30,000 or whatever. And so I have no idea about that. What I do know is that we are calling on the Ministry of Finance and the government to bring us the performance analysis of the budget for the first and second quarter, and so that we all see through what are being government expenditure and what are the areas being directed, part of our oversight responsibility. And those are instruments that will tell you, how government resources have been expanded.
So you are not aware of any $30,000?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, on the aspect of oversight, Senator, I know the Senate is the House of Elders. Elders are wise people. How much of your oversight, not only you are making reference to the entire
the
Senate
unit.
now, you've been able to really execute?
Well, I think on mine few years at the Senate, we have been having a serious issue of how we increase. Not that we are not having oversight, but how do we increase it? How does the increment affect the entire country in terms of what our policies change, whether financial impact? It still remains a challenge. We've been very robust coming in with the last batch of senators, and we have increased the oversight. So today you hear for the first time an advocacy led by Senator Dillon and other senators saying, where is this domestic debt expenditure list, for example? Today, our oversight has said to us, we want to know what is the detail of some of these figures that comes in the budget. You saw some senators refusing to vote for the budget because they stated reasons. They were not clear over their oversight. And so today, our oversight may not be as perfect as it is, but today we're holding some agencies responsible. We're trying to amend some of the laws that create loopholes and gaps. Today we're talking about the electoral reform law. Today we're talking about the anti-corruption, we're talking about the drugs law. So the oversight comes with a barrage of activities that strengthen and give authority that you can hold these implementers or the executive to. And so I think we need to do more. I think we need to be clear about some of the things we do. Our oversight haven't been able to demonstrate through information dissemination what is it when the budget is passed. How do we come out and be able to clearly articulate what is government's project? Most times, Sabat, we pass a budget and give, for example, after the president tour, we pass a budget, and 4 million is in our budget to handle some of those things. It is interpreted as president project. It's not the government of Liberia project, but it's interpreted as the president project. When that money is coming from taxpayer money, when that money is placed in the national budget, when we are on obligation to either reject or accept, and because we see the necessity of development, we pass that, and it's interpreted as this project. And so considering all of that, I think we need to strengthen our oversight. And so we need to make sure that things are handled. And so I think on the overall, we're trying our best, but we need to do more to enforce our oversight because the Senate, the legislature, if our oversight is strengthened, I think we'll be moving the country one step forward.
So in another word, you are saying that there's a need to strengthen your oversight.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's true that the Senate is carrying out its oversight, but it needs to strengthen.
Yes, sir.
Let me take this break quickly. I'll be right back. You're listening to the SMS, rated on the OBC 99.9 and also frequencies across Liberia.
Scientific, baby. The remix.
Bringing heat to the streets.
And this is Yo.
Human being, so human being, you're more happy to be being. Human being, you cannot be. For human being, they will stay on your knee. Human being, you can satisfy their needs. So just live your life, you don't mind human being. Say the more when you get everything that trouble.
You're listening to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9 and also frequencies across Liberia. Our guest here is Senator Jonathan Kapi. Now, Senator, I'm sure we've spoken about your deliverables. We've spoken about the aspect that has to do with your oversight and your lawmaking and all of that, generalizing as well the entire Senate. Let's now hear from you, Senator. What is the status of the opposition Liberty Party now?
Thank you. Not only the opposition Liberty Party, but the third biggest political party in the Republic of Liberia. Record has shown over the last period of election hearing that Liberty Party have come strong. 4 senators in the Senate, not just senators, but look at the county, Maserado, Basso, Lofa. And so, I mean, we clear that we are one of the biggest political parties. What's happening? What's the current status? The party have been going through some turbulence, like any other institution. We have our own disagreement and agreement, and we've been in the news for some wrong reasons and all of that. The party also believe in full hour when I talk about reconciliation and so we've been through all. Finally, we had a meeting with the Justice in Chimat, and the Justice in Chimat instructed that the two parties, the honorability factions, along with the Senator Lawrence, we all meet and try to harmonize our constitution that is the source of some of our challenges. Of course, using the Farmington Accord as the reference, because the Farmington Accord pointed to some of the issues that were in the constitution that we needed to rectify it or correct. And so we met in the law library at the Temple of Justice, and of course, everybody came together on rebellion, on the leadership of Senator Lawrence as the political leader. We came together and we went through the process of inciting whatever issues that we had with the Constitution. And that was done. All of us were there, Martin, the secretary, and Honorability and his team. And, we all went through that. Paul Hilton, Councilor Paul Hilton, all of us there. Of course, Senator Lawrence and the rest of us. And so following that, we met and decided to have a meeting. And then following that, we signed the formal. The instruction was meet, correct, and resubmit to the Election Commission. And so that has been done. And so we're waiting now for the Election Commission to respond to us. And then while we're doing that, there have been a series of interactions, trying to reunite the party and trying to build reconciliation at different levels. And so there we are.
Now, ahead of 2023, while you're trying to organize yourself as a party, are you also considering how do you present yourself to the people with all of the rigmarole and internal wrangling that in fact rocked the Liberty Party or the ANC you had?
Well, I think whatever has happened has happened. We're not justifying whether it was good or bad, but I'm glad it happened the time it happened. Because now we can now go in-house, learn from those challenges or mistakes, use it as a learning curve. And so that whenever we finally put our act together, we can build on those experiences that we learned. And so based upon that, I think we're now willing to move forward. We're now driving the reconciliation that will reunite the party, by extension, the opposition. It's not enough to boast that you are a bigger political institution, but it's also enough to see how well you build yourself and maintain yourself at that level. And I think many of us, if not all of us, have realized that we need to, settle up soon
What
as
is the
possible.
discussion that's in house for Nyombli Kanga to remain as the political leader? Is that the discussion? You want to agree on that?
Well, she is. It's not about agreeing. She is the political leader. And so I think Senator Lauren has gone public to even say, honor the new spirit of reconciliation per the mandate of the Supreme Court. She has said that honorability remains the chairman. So that pronouncement tells you, after all of what happened, that we own the power for reconciliation.
The Liberty Party entered a marriage with with Cummings and the rest, and all was okay. People thought that you would have been a formidable institution.
We demonstrated that in
I'm
2020.
coming, Senator. Let me land. People thought that you would have been a formidable institution, a machinery, political machinery against the ruling coalition. And then after a certain time, you split, and we heard all of the missiles and all of the fighting all of that. Are you considering? That's the question I ask. How are you considering presenting yourself this time around to the Liberian people whose trust you've broken?
Well, I know that in these processes, we have our own challenges, we have our own shortcomings that led us to where we are. And I think going forward, there are different strategies, there are different ideology, there are different things that we're going to do to rebuild first the confidence among ourselves, the Liberian people, and the confidence that says we can honor that phrase of our anthem that says, in union, strong success is assured. As we do that, I don't think it's about a hurry process anymore. I think it's about a process of sober reflection and seeing what is it? Is it about our country? Then we must bury every other personal thing and move ahead. And so there have been conversations around the table. Of course, everybody have been talking to one another at different level. And I think this is a public radio. We cannot discuss all of the strategy, but I think from where we see, there seems to be the willingness that we can come back together, but we have to develop the political will, and it is that will that we're trying to get to.
Is the Constitution making reference to? Does it include also bringing the CPP back together? Is it what it also gets towards?
Well, it's not about only bringing the CPP back. It's about how do we forge ahead together, and how do we do it in as soon as possible time the public will know. But we remain a formidable force. Let no one deceive you. We demonstrated that in 2014. Yes, somebody will say the local election. Yes, you may say that, but I mean, one election doesn't determine the strength of a political institution. And so, in the midst of all that happened, maybe what happened in local was a lesson learned.
Do you agree, Senator, that all of you in the Liberty Party destroyed, in other words, the value, the principles that your founder, Councillor Charles Walter Bromskin, said. You've destroyed it. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. But one thing I know is that the party called for rediscovery, one of the era. I think what we've been going through is we're trying to rediscover the party after the demise of our political leader. Of course, what had happened seems to be that we have destroyed, but I think it's a whole process of rebuilding the party, restructuring the party, allowing some of the tendency of democracy to play at a level for which we must respect people by their view, by who they are, and all of that. And one thing I can say is that the public may judge us by our actions, but I think at the end of the day, we need to reunite the party and come back to the public and say, yes, these are where we may have gone wrong, and this is maybe where we are, but finally, we are at the pave. And as we do that, I think there's a need to work stronger because the time is not our friend in terms of restoring the party and making sure that we remain the kind of party that Councillor Bromskin envisaged.
So with all of the internal wrangling and the hollow barrel and all of that, and now you are trying to reconcile the party, how do you see the fate of the opposition in 2023?
Well, the fate of the opposition, I think, is good. The opposition...
Are you being honest with what you say?
Oh, I've been very honest.
Or you being dishonest?
No, I've been very honest to myself. Because, I mean, I cannot be dishonest to myself, even if I've been dishonest
in
to
the
people.
phase of... I'm coming in the phase of a divided opposition. Do you see your fate still?
Well, I see my fate. Why? Because I said to you earlier that there are efforts being made to reconcile, to work together, and to move forward. And because
you just alluded that time is not in your favor anymore.
Oh yes, I said
ahead of
course,
2023.
Ahead of 2023, and you know this. But because time is not in our favor, it gave us more energy, it gave us more reasoning, it gave us more time to say, because we don't have time, we need to work together. And I can say to you that the opposition is strong. We are prepared. We are a government in waiting. We are prepared to go into this process. We prepare to ensure that
your critics will think that you are sounding disingenuously. You are government in waiting.
Well, it is their opinion. It is their opinion, but a political party or political institution, of course, are government in waiting.
When you are divided.
Well, that's what I said. We are divided, yes, but we're putting our acts together, and I can assure you that with the commitment that we're seeing, added to the political will that is anticipated, unity will be forged, and the opposition will work together. And we will go to this process prepared and ready to win.
Putting your act together, are you looking forward to whether Cummings will be on your ballot paper or whether a boycott? Which of them are you thinking about?
Well, when the parcel is finally put together, it will be delivered to the labyrinth.
I like that. You listening to the SMS. Let me read this information quickly before I open the lines. His Excellency President Dr. George Manawia will receive the highest Hollywood honor award tomorrow at the Golden Image Award ceremonies. The Golden Image Award brings Hollywood in Liberia. The CEO, founder, and entourage arrived last night via Brussels Airlines. And of course, we were welcomed by the Crusaders for Peace. Wow. So the Golden Image Award is the bicentennial edition. And of course, is also part of activities marking this year's independence celebration. Is scheduled for tomorrow. Hoping that you are planning to go there. But 800 persons are the attendees, and several individuals, national and internationals, will receive the Golden Image Awards. I'm hoping I could receive one of the awards.
Just keep working hard.
0776 540 987. That's the alternative line. Or better still, 0880 514 096. Again, 0880 514 096 or 0776 540 987. Let me take this first call on the line quickly. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Josh.
Yes, sir.
My name is Isham B. Joloka, and I'm calling you from Niso.
Let's hear from you.
Yeah, Mr. George, I'm glad this morning to listen to the Senator of Green Bassa County.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to him in outline a flying sheet of chief of his. And he opposing the re-election of President Weah. I want to know what all in outline is that enough to seek re-election, and he denied George Weah from getting re-elected? Let me answer my question, please.
0776 540 987. That's the number to call, or better still, 0880 514 096. Again, 0880 514 096. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I'm Emmanuel Gado calling from Grand Bassa County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm the General Secretary of the Campus Scholarship at the Green Bassa University. Yeah, I want to comment on Campus for a Howard at the Green Bassa University there, where he sponsored a lot of students that he doesn't know, and he also gave support to the Liberia Government Hospital. So I want to comment in the morning. All the things online is true, and everything is online.
Okay, many thanks. Many thanks. Let's try to take this call on the line quickly. Good morning. Oh, this caller has, we missed this caller, 0776 540 987, or better still, 0880 514 096. That's the number to call, and you are live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. This is Frandy Kuroma calling you here in Kakata City, Majumi County.
Let's hear from you.
I want to thank the studio guest, the senator. He has explained well, and I want to thank him, especially so for the togetherness of the one-time removal of President Weah, which we are committed to, and we will join in that process. The opposition are together. We will come together. Thank you very much. May God bless that here.
Okay, when the senator says you people don't have time in your favor, it will come together. Okay, 0776 540 987, or better still, 0880 514 096. Back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, this is S. Lauren Bobo, come from Foya, Novaka, District 1, a coordinator of President Weah re-election 2020. We did one time. Okay, thank you so much for the senator interview. With all the correction they are doing, somehow we always say Tunisia were so patient with all the what they were doing in Liberia. 12 years they waited all of people. Why the senator cannot go together and bear the people 12 years? Why they going against the president? What have they done? Have they not gone against anybody? May God forgive them. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. May God forgive them. Let's hear from this caller quickly. 0776 540 987. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Chelsea.
Let's hear from you.
Okay, for my own understanding, the senator already did that himself. Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
No, that's my point.
Oh, you said the senator already defeated himself.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you don't want to go further. Okay, let's take this call on the line also. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir George.
Good morning, sir.
This is Armstrong Coastal Maza calling from the FD Junction.
Let's hear from you.
It's a shame that today, those people trying to pretend to say they want to come to the process. We already know that George, we are going to make it in. No matter what Kumi does, we are the same. No matter what Braga does, George, we are going to whip him mercifully. Development is what we were looking for, and this is what we are doing. The fundamental is going to be organized wicked protest. June 7, the intention was very wicked. So long the intention of June 7 will not manifest against George Weah, there's nothing they can do now absolutely to deter George Weah. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. We really appreciate your time. Let's take this call on the line. 0776 540 987. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Gabriel Ma. to say that I'm troubled by the contradiction the honorable senator is making in there. Yeah, the senator mentioned that there is nothing like president's project. Well, how is it that there's nothing like president's project? Then there is what they call legislative project. But he wants people to say government project. Another contradiction is that he's saying that elections, people say they win elections in Lofa and that does not determine your strength. But with Darrell Dillon won in Monserrado County, that was what they mentioned their strength by in Morovia here. Now that it is another person that won, you say you can't determine that by the person's strength. Or are you telling me because Darrell Dillon was a Liberty Party man, that's why the nation is victory by strength? And then now it's Liberty Party that lost, so you can measure the strength by the victory of the person. I mean, how can you reconcile that?
Okay. Many things. You respond to that. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Samuel John.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is Gamona Darasi Mogawi. I join for SKD for the Vasaka Mokomedi to get that dream of Kukono.
Okay.
Let me say, good morning to the senator. But that's something that the senator said is not good at all. We do not have, for now, any party in La Broco Liberty Party. We do not have any party that. And he got that data himself and saying Liberty Party is.
Oh, he's off the line. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Majesty Jawi calling from the Yellow City.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning, Senator General Kabi.
Good morning.
With the Bible people want development this come around. Who over politics in it, about the party, CDC, this, that. Because it's youth, the majority of the party in Grimala Canada, get anything, to the only do So, the situation in Grimala Canada, they are doing 400% money in the party. So, you can be talking about the party, you can't come out of the you do have a party, then you come out of the get so I want to take.
Okay, you finish talking, so let's just good morning. We'll take on the two more calls and wrap it up. Good morning. Hello? Good morning. Oh, it seems this call is not ready. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Samuel Josh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I call from Grand Bassa County. I'm Hotel Ndole. Okay, I just want to say this to the Honorable Kapi, that the statement you used to say he's going to join the opposition bloc to unseat President Weah, that is far from the truth because Honorable Kapi is always coming in the continuously trying to solicit support from the angle of the coalition to support him for a senatorial bid. I can hear him being two-tone person to say he will unseat the government and also want his support. That is not going to work. I'm telling you, it's a strong candidate that he will not support him in that process and he will not win. We are in Buchanan City here. The issue has to do with even giving Michael Rumelu. He's trying to ride on the benchmark of Honorable Joe. Honorable Joe has a greater benchmark of giving circular loan to Michael Rumelu. He has no track record about that. So let him retry those statements. He will not succeed. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, many thanks. Let's see, you should retract what you said. Let me take this call on the line quickly. Only two more calls I will take. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Seven. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Ishmael Adi James, and I call you from Buya, Lupa County, Liberia.
Okay.
Let me just acknowledge the video guest over there that, he is overlooking the local election. But let me tell you something. The local elections have shown us where that, 2023, George Weah is only going one time into election. Because today that Buya dispute the result, when 5,000 was given to CDC and 5,000 was given to Unity Party, this tells people that this time around people want development. So do not overlook the local county election this time around. This election tells people that, next 2023 is one-time election. So thank you so much this morning.
Okay, many thanks. Let me take this last caller quickly. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, let's hear from you. Oh, this caller is not ready. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Jim F. Kawula call from Babro County, Pacific to the Korean Boko District.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just make a point. The issue is concerned about the opposition. And let me just tell Senator Institute that the opposition have been given the two different things, which is from 2005 to 2011. So why come around now that they say the ruling party that will be given the one sense? So for the liberal party, we already know that if somebody, God bless you, voted for the first team, you must complete a second team. So this come around, we're under the weather, and Pastor Joe Mana Babu, we are doing Babu by providing one of the referral hospital in Africa that you can talk about, which is the Emory Hospital in Bobo City. Based on the development that he has done there, you will get a reward. But based on the opposition, the way he treated us, they go on, pass, redeem, we will not take them serious because they are not in serious. Thank God they said no in their camp, and we will actually vote against them come 2023. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. The caller is joyful that the opposition got noise in the camp. These guys says. Okay, let's take the last caller quickly. I'm trying to see what I can get a last caller on quickly. Good morning.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Mm-hmm. This is Abu Shario. I'm calling from Jiban Freeway.
Yes, quickly, Abu.
Mr. Senator Institute, I just want to ask you, so you people, let's say, your senator and your colleague, they choose to reject the budget for allowing people to have quarry. And we have to, that's a little quarry where your senator and your colleague, let's refuse to reject, no matter what happens. You will say better for all but you will still receive it in Grand Pass or once an hour. So I just looking at your doing your part. Shin oil. Thank you, Astan.
Okay. He said thank you, I started. This last one quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Sobot.
Yes.
And good morning to the Conshoman Liberian. My name is Abraham Political Mojosetu, and I call for the most talk about Avidigo this morning. Let me appreciate General Campbell from Rembaso County for a tireless effort in representing the people. I agree with the Senator. Liberty Party is the second biggest political party. Judging from the 2005 election, they came third place. 2017 election, they came fourth place. So, as one person who believes in the rule of law, who believes in political tolerance, what is I'm a member of the ruling party, but I want to encourage food from the Liberty Party, let them resolve that conflict, ensuring that they can critique this government and that support. What is that President John Manuel will be re-elected come 2020 election. Thank you for being over today.
Many thanks, many thanks. We are not taking the additional calls because the lines are still blinking. We're not taking additional calls. We've already exhausted the calls. Senator, you can respond now, and then we take leave of you.
Thank you, Sabo, and thank to the caller for the concerns and the statements. I think in the spirit of democracy, the freedom of speech and expressions, I think it's only that doctrine I think they have spoken and they entitled to the view. But when we're talking about the projects that is considered government project, it's projects that are gone through the national budget that the legislature, together with the executive, agreed on. And so most time I'm saying that sometimes it's only described as presidential project, whereas those resources are resources that are from the Liberian people and allocated by the legislature. When we're talking about the re-election of us or the re-election of the president, there are two different debate. I mean, we're talking about senatorial election, you're talking about the re-election of the president. And so we believe that the platform we were giving you in terms of what we've done is to say to us, this is what we've done, and our people can determine, what they want to do in terms of our re-election. So we're not no way geared towards putting achievement between us or the president anyway. When they're talking about citizens have the right, of course, I would be shocked if they didn't say on the radio what they said. But at the same time, we as members of the opposition bloc are on obligation to do what we can do. That's the beauty of democracy. And we are preparing and we are prepared to move forward to ensure that we go to this process and hoping again, and I will repeat that we will be victorious. That's something that we're clear about. People say, go to Basel, Salford, and create your own experience and see whether we are Liberty Party is visible in the country or not, or whether we are practically visible or not. As a senator of the county, working and interacting with people, I'm senator for like Grand Master, what are you from Unity Party, you from Liberty Party, from CDC. So our interaction is broad-based. So it's in no way, on, why we do. So we interact with different people, different political institutions, because I am the senator of the county. The loan for market women, somebody said it's an initiative started by Honorable Joe. Well, somebody must start anything. Loan as a whole, if you check in library, it didn't start by anybody, not me. The question was, what have you done for the market women? And I responded to say, this is what we're doing. And that's a form of empowerment. And so it's something to clarify. But by and large, again, I want to say thank you for the platform.
Okay.
I'm looking forward coming back so we can talk more. Somebody said, well, Senator Dillon and my political leader did not vote for the passage of budget. Well, those issues are evident in themselves, and they give reasons and so forth. So I want to say thank you for the platform. I'm looking forward coming back soon, since indeed I have some makeup to take. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you to the folks in Radio Land for the opportunity.
Many thanks. We also relish your time being here this morning, taking time off a busy schedule. We say thank you, Mr. Senator, hoping that you continue to succeed as you impact the lives of your people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're listening to the SMS right here on the OBC 99.9.